times. He executed it perfectly, but that's still it's a hell of a flip, folks. It's a running back flip sort of move. So go and look it up if you don't know what it is. But he nailed it perfectly. But even when you nail it perfectly, if you land slightly wrong, you could hurt yourself without it being noticeable. So that could have been when it happened. You didn't notice it during the match. You can't tell during the match that this motherfucker broke his ankle. So I give him all the credit in the world.
Leave it to Will Ospreay to be the only known injury from Wrestle Kingdom 14 when he was one of the few men to only wrestle the first night.
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Like, there should have been a lot more injuries that weren't him from people who worked way harder.
Right, couple of them wrestled 40 minutes 2 nights.
Just goes to show you why I don't like the man. No, I'm kidding. Well, this is a name. Pampiro Firpo, real name Juan Cashmanian, passed away Thursday at the age of 89.
Can we just take a moment to admit that Juan Cashmanian is way better name than Pampiro
Firpo? Vince McMahon made that name when he was drunk and high on cocaine.
I believe it.
He just scribbled it out on a piece of paper, and it probably wasn't even those letters. That's just what he read the next day.
It wasn't what he was writing, that's for sure. He wrote Salvador Sullivan, and it came out Pampiro Firpo. Hey Vince, what was it? What was that name you wanted for the new guy again? Vince messed up on cocaine and booze. Pampiro Firpo. Gotcha, Pampiro Firpo.
I've had about a week in my life with Adderall and writing lyrics, and then after that week, looking back at the lyrics and throwing the whole notebook away. Like I can't make any of this work. So,
it doesn't happen.
The Argentinian-born Firpo wrestled from the 1950s to the 1980s. He was a featured star in many of the territories, including the AWA wrestling the likes of the original Sheik, Nick Bonkwinkle, Bobo Brazil, Johnny Valentine, and Mad Dog Vachon. Juan took the name Firpo after a boxer from the 1920s named the Wind Bowl of the Pampas.
Wild.
Oh, sorry. That makes more sense. The Wind Bowl of the Pampas. That's where you got Firpo from, right?
Oh.
No. The Wild Bull of the Pampas, Luis Angel Firpo.
On hail. Sorry, on hail.
Eco. And claimed that he was the Wild Bull's son. Ironically, his real father was a legit shooter, an actual amateur wrestler who was a contender for the Olympics in 1972. Firpo wrestled 6 matches within the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, where he defeated, amongst others, Chief Jay Strongbow at Madison Square Garden. On May 22nd, 1972, Firpo competed in a losing effort for the WWF heavyweight title against Pedro Morales at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, definitely not a super well-known name to a lot of folks nowadays, but he was a player back in the day during the territory days, and huge in AWA, which is pasty in my, you would say hometown league, I guess. I know both of us were young to not born when they went out of business. When I was born, they were just struggling yet. They were nowhere near as good as they were, but we have a love for them. Mm-hmm. And, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
I mean, we both love the Vikings, right? Got to root for the hometown team.
Okay. Facing both Chief Jay Strongbow and Pedro Morales in Madison Square Garden. That's huge. Again, I guess a lot of people nowadays probably don't think much of Chief Jay Strongbow or Pedro Morales, or even maybe don't know their names, but at that time, 70s, huge, top main event guys. Obviously, title holders.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace from Moving on, Pasty. We are. It's hard to kill.
It is hard to kill, just like this podcast.
Impact, hard to kill. Predictions coming up. The first Impact pay-per-view of the year. Second major pay-per-view in wrestling for the year. So
will it add Impact. Up? Will it stack up to Wrestle Kingdom 14?
No, it will not.
Not even close.
You already know that. I'm super excited for the main event, but still, no, it will not. All right, we're jumping out, Pacey, with what Beefsticks Podcast has dubbed the Zootopia match.
Okay, I was hoping that came from us and not from Impact Wrestling.
Not a real title, but we had to throw it in there anyways. The Zootopia match pits Moose versus Rhino.
Yes. This match should be in a cage, really.
I think it should be for the Zootopia title. You know what? There's as much as we had to say about Rhino and his legacy and what he's done, there's no reason the young up-and-coming Moose, or even young now there Moose, shouldn't beat Rhino.
Right. He's been taking it to everybody from that generation lately, and Rhino's just the next one on the list. I'm right there with you. Moose is winning this one.
Moose.
Then we have Ken Shamrock taking on Madman Fulton.
I'm going to play the same card here. Ken Shamrock is the returning legend. He's the old timer, and he should be passing the buck. He looks like $1 million, no doubt about it. But Madman Fulton has been just a beast. He's insane, and he's got a lot going to him. I don't see him as main event champion, heavyweight champion, or nothing like that. But the man has a lot to his character. And a win over a legend like Shamrock would be great. I'm going Madman Fulton.
I'm going Shamrock. Yep. If Rhino's losing, Shamrock's winning. I didn't see his last match. You said it wasn't very good. I'm hoping he's been training a little bit harder since then.
Sadly wasn't, but again, it might just be what it was. Uh-huh. It might be the ring rust. It might be just a bad day. It might be he's no longer good. It could be any of those things. And then
to round out this old 3-match old man series.
Yeah, it's the old nursing home shuffle here.
Hard to kill.
Exactly.
We're trying. We're trying
to put them in the grave. They just keep coming back like zombies. It's Day of the Dead over here.
Oh my God, is that Tommy Dreamer? What's Tommy Dreamer doing in the Impact Zone? And he's the only one who dies.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Chris Benoit pop his head up. Whoa. Too soon, sorry. What do we got here?
Brian Cage taking on Rob Van Dam. Man, Shamrock is my old guy to go over. Cage is winning this one.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam may be the whole effing show, and he may have a smoking hot wife right now, but I'm going with they call him Cage.
Yes. Then we have the match for the Call Your Shot trophy. Seeing Eddie Edwards defending his cup versus Michael Elgin.
We're not talking about his jock support here, buddy. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the Call Your Shot trophy is basically like the Money in the Bank. You know what I mean?
It's basically like the X Division Championship.
Yeah. Except you don't have to be an X Division person.
I'm calling it out.
Do it. I mean, that's legit. That's legit.
You got 2 of them now. I guess, they have 2 Money in the Banks because Raw and SmackDown each have one. And then the women each have one. So there's 4. And NXT will probably get one this year. So you might as well try to keep up, I guess.
I mean, I guess at least Impact's calling them different things. At least they're being creative. Eddie Edwards, Michael Elgin, Pasty. I'm going to go with, I think Eddie Edwards keeps it because of where I see the story going in the future, not necessarily because of the match itself.
Yes, and we discussed that before the show, and you almost had me sway my pick, but once they're locked in, I don't like to change them, so I'm sticking with Michael Elgin.
To be fair, Elgin's my pick if I don't take storyline into an equation here. So
yeah.
Then we have Impact Tag Team Championships, The North. Ethan Page and Josh Alexander defending their titles against Willie Mack and Rich Swann. Pasty.
Yes. You know, I was looking at this, and they're the champions, and they just recently got the championships. I almost put my money on the North, even though I hate them and they don't represent me. But then I saw that you named the other team so sweetly for your pick, so I had to outdo you and go with my heart and say Wilfred Swanson for the win.
Which, you know, actually, when I read that, I really liked that name.
It's a good wrestling name.
I'm not even sure where it came from, but it sounds like an actual wrestler. It does.
It does, yeah.
But I'm picking the same team as you, but I'm dubbing them Team Swilly.
Willie Juice.
Swilly.
Willie Juice.
No, just Swilly.
Then we have the Impact X Division Championship. That's right, it's the Call Your Shot trophy you can wear around your waist. Ace Austin defending his championship versus Rascal Trey Miguel.
Yeah. Big fan of the Rascals. No doubt. They're the stoners, the That 70s Show, the fun loving. They're the Impact's New Day. If New Day was stoners and not pancakers? Gamers? I don't know what they are.
Breakfast cereal enthusiasts.
With that being said, I don't see a reason for Ace Austin to lose his championship here, and I don't see Trey Miguel as my personal standout of the Rascals. So, to me, Desmond Xavier is the standout. If it was Desmond Xavier in here, I'd probably be picking him. I'm not picking him. I'm picking Ace Austin.
Well,
ironically, just wait a second. We could have had a match with Ace Austin and Desmond Xavier, and Xavier Woods was in the New Day, and his name in Impact was Austin Creed. Bam! Talk about some stoner logic there. The world just imploded on itself.
It just goes to show Impact has to recycle ideas over and over again, doesn't it?
It does. Just like wrestling, I guess. I mean, they are blatantly ripping off That 70s Show, which was a show about the 70s in the 2000s. Hello.
Right. I'm going to pick the Little Rascal because I didn't consider things the way you did.
That's a logical explanation, Pasty, in all honesty. I didn't look at things the way you did.
No, you make a lot of really good points. Maybe I should watch more Impact.
I think we all should watch more Impact, just to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And another reason for that is because they've got one of the best women's division around, and that is exemplified in the three-way Impact Knockouts Championship match. Taya Valkyrie defending her Knockouts Championship against Jordynne Grace and ODB in a three-way match. Three amazing, badass women. And might I say, Pasty, I'm going to put this out there. The way a woman looks means nothing in wrestling, but I think it's badass that they got three big, thick, muscular, non-model women in their Knockouts main event match.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a really good match. I'm really happy to see ODB back in action. It's always
she's got to make that food truck money, baby.
Yes, indeed. This was a hard pick. It really was. My hopes would be Jordynne Grace, but I have to go with the reigning champion Taya Valkyrie because I think Grace and ODB are gonna kind of get a little sidetracked with each other.
They could. I think ODB was just put in here for either flavor or favor or both. I think she adds a little something extra, and or it's like, oh yeah, she's back around. She's making money for that food truck. Let's give her a spot.
Once again,
I love
old
ODB.
wrestlers wrestling in a modern day pay-per-view called Hard to Kill.
Exactly. And I love ODB to death. I got nothing negative against her. She's a Minnesota gal.
Yes.
But I love Thick Mama Pump. I am going with Jordynne Grace. And I think it's her time to shine. Taya Valkyrie it feels like she's had this title for at least a year. Maybe it hasn't been, but she's had it forever. And I don't think it's going to hurt her to lose it now. And if she's going to lose it to either one of these two gals, it should be
she's
Jordynne
probably
Grace.
going to WWE, where